Hey guys, in this video we're going to be talking about one-sided limits. So we have this function over here, and fun fact, since we have two lines, separate parts, we can use a piecewise function to represent this. Okay, so let's get started and find the limit for this function here. So I'm going to define this purple function as h of x. And I want to know what is my limit as x approaches this point, -1. Limit as x approaches -1 for h of x. So looking at this function over here, from the negative side or the left side of the graph, as I go closer and closer to x equals -1, my y values are reaching 2, +2. So let me write that. So negative side, they're reaching +2. And from the positive side, as I get closer and closer and closer to -1, x equals -1, my y values are approaching +1, or they approach +1. So positive side equals 1. So since they're not the same number, my negative side and positive side, the y values are not approaching the same number. So the limit does not exist. So limit equals DNE, or does not exist. But we can treat this, or we can look at this as a one-sided limit. So if I said limit as x approaches -1, and I can really, get very particular. I can say from the left-handed side or the right-handed side, the positive and negative side. And all I do to indicate this is write a superscript of a negative for the negative side, or positive for positive side. And we're going to do both. So x approaches -1, and I'm going to write a plus sign to indicate I'm coming from the positive side. And that's all I do to indicate that, which way am I coming from. And it's very obvious. So if it's negative, you're coming from the negative side. Positive, you're coming from the positive side. Let's do the negative side first. And we've already done it. So as I come from the negative side to x equals -1, my y values are approaching the value 2. So the limit as x approaches -1 from the left-handed side, h of x equals +2. Now for the right-handed side, as the limit as x approaches -1 from the positive side, I'm going to get closer and closer and closer to -1 from the left or the right-hand side of the graph, and I see that my y values are approaching +1, like I've determined earlier. So I'm going to write limit as x approaches -1 from the positive side, the function h of x approaches +1. And that's a one-sided limit. It's as easy as, a limit that you're, identifying from both sides. So let's look at this function over here. So I want to find the limit as x approaches 1 from the right-hand side. So I'm going to write plus for the function h of x. So looking at this graph, I'm coming from the right-handed side, and as I approach x equals -1, I see that my y value is +1. So this is 1. Reminder, the limit of x equals x approaches 1 for h of x is, again, does not exist. Because we don't have a left side to this function, there's nothing to trace on this side of the graph. I can't trace anything. So therefore, the limit as x approaches 1 for h of x does not exist. And that really is what a one-sided limit is. It's just the positive side and the negative side. How does the function behave as you're getting closer and closer to the value from one side?